All right, so regardless of what Kamala Harris thinks, we know what's going on. We do. We know the state of our union is terrible under this Harris administration. I don't even think it's Joe Biden anymore. I mean, he came out, apparently he did a bit of an interview with CBS, and nobody cares. We know the state of Minnesota is in terrible shape because of Tim Walz. We know the Democrat Party is awful under all three. We know these things because we pay for the policies of all three. Look at inflation or interest rates under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and their administration. Look at the Twin Cities under Democrats. Or Minnesota under Governor Tim Walz. Minneapolis is an absolute mess. There's a war zone, a fallen city, a city under siege due to the policies of Biden and Harris and, yes, Walz. City is a constant reminder of what happens when order succumbs to lawlessness and chaos reigns supreme. The city is a reminder of what happens to the people when the most powerful people in government are partisan extremists, such as life under the squad. Listen.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry has faced heavy criticism for how he handled the unrest following the death of George Floyd. And as John Crowan reports, the mayor now appears to be shifting some of that blame to Governor Tim Walz.
The question has never been, did the National Guard make a difference? It's always been, why couldn't they have been here sooner, before the 3rd Precinct burned Thursday, May 28th?
I think the average person maybe assumes that there's soldiers waiting in helicopters to drop in like they do in the movies.
Governor Walz responding to a trove of emails and text messages released in response to a public records request from City Hall, backing up that Mayor Jacob Fry did indeed ask for the National Guard Wednesday, May 27th. Text from mayor's staff. The mayor just came out and said the chief wants to call in the National Guard to help the 3rd Precinct. A follow-up text exchange from Fry's staff a few hours later. What's happening as far as the Guard? He said Walz was hesitating.
Yeah. Under Tim Walz, the state is no longer a beacon that is bright and clear. Once was. Because of Tim Walz, the good no longer proclaim the state near and far. The Minnesota of Tim Walz is the Minnesota of Ilhan Omar, sadly. The state in disarray due to willful neglect. By abandoning his responsibilities as governor, and by governor, I mean governing like a member of the squad, Walz proves he is a Democrat who actually hates democracy. By disrespecting us and advancing policies that disrespect our rights as citizens, by severing the bonds that tie us together and unite us as citizens, Walz proves he has no connection to us. He, in fact, wants nothing to do with us. Such is the Democrat Party of the squad. Such is the party of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Such is the party of Tim Walz. It's a party I'm going to refuse to join. I'm not going to be a party to the fast undoing of our rights. We will not contribute to this party. I won't. We will not support this party. I won't. We will not vote for this party. I can't. I can't trade the chance to make America great again for the guarantee by Harris and Walz to make America worse than she already is. We will not lose our country because these folks have already made us ill. They've already made us ill. I want to give you an example. I want to jump to bite number 12. I want to make sure you have that. Bite number 12. I want to make sure you have that. Because this, well, get it in there real quick. It's in your machine.
It has to be
because I want to
about a
share
goal
this
of
with
saying
folks. Not that. No. The UK is going after people for getting on social media and saying we're being invaded. In the UK, they're going to throw people in jail for speaking out against the mass migration that has destroyed their countries. They're criminalizing any opposition. If you have the wrong thoughts in the UK now, you can and will go to jail. You will go to jail longer than an illegal alien who comes into the country and commits a sexual assault. It's truly unbelievable. And if you think that can't happen here, you're not paying attention. If radicals like Tim Walz, who says if they build a 25-foot wall, I'll build a factory that makes 30-foot ladders. He wants an open border. People being murdered like Lake and Riley are meaningless to him. Meaningless. None of that means anything to him or to these people. They think it's about inclusivity, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Equity being the key word here, that we have equal outcomes. And so if you don't think it can happen here, I want you to pay attention to what you're about to hear. This is the man in charge of arresting people for having the wrong thoughts in the UK right now. Listen.
The offence of incitement to racial hatred involves publishing or distributing material which is insulting or abusive, which is intended to or likely to start racial hatred. So if you retweet that, then you're republishing that, and then potentially you're committing that offence. And we do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media. Their job is to look for this material and then follow up with identification, arrests, and so forth. So it's a really, really serious. People might think they're not doing anything harmful. They are, and the consequences will be visited upon them.
Dedicated police officers to find you if you post something they deem offensive, upsetting. Wow. If you don't think that can happen here, you look at these people that are on this ticket. There's a bounce right now. It's a sugar high for Harrison Walls, but his stolen valor and other things, these are going to be problematic because you have J.D. Vance, the United States Marine who did serve in a war zone, against a guy who claimed to do it just for political gain.